In this video, we're going to discuss how to graph reflections on the coordinate plane. So still part of the geometry unit, we're going to color that pink. All right, a reflection of a geometric figure is a transformation that flips a figure across a line in the coordinate plane. It creates a mirror image of the figure on the opposite side of the line. So the rules for this type of transformation or a reflection, if we're flipping across the x-axis, the y-coordinate is going to be opposite, and if we flip across the y-axis, the x-coordinate is going to be opposite. So then we're going to list the coordinates of the pre-image, apply the rule, so one of these, and then list the coordinates of the image, finally draw the graph. So example number 1, let's see how this works. We have a reflection across the y-axis. So the y-axis, remember, is the axis that goes up and down. So we're going to be flipping across that axis. So think about if I were to fold this paper over on that axis, what would my shape look like? All right, so I'm going to list my original coordinates. These are of the pre-image. This is prior transformation, no transformation. So I have T, H, L, V. Okay, T is at the point -2, 3. H is at the point 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So 2, 3. L is at the point 1, 2, 3, 4, -1. And V is at the point 1, -1. So I've listed the coordinates of my pre-image. All right, I'm flipping across the y-axis, so I go up here, flip across the y-axis, the x-coordinate is opposite. So I'm going to need to take the opposite of all of the x-coordinates. So for my image, this is where my shape is going to end up. I have T prime, H prime, L prime, and V prime. So I'm taking all of these x-coordinates and we're making them opposite. So the opposite of -2 is +2, and my y-coordinate stays the same, 3. H prime, opposite of +2 is -2, y-coordinate stays the same. L, opposite of 4 is -4, y-coordinate stays the same. And for V prime, the opposite of 1 is -1, and -1 for the y-coordinate stays the same. So again, I'm taking the opposite of the x-coordinates here. All the y-coordinates stay exactly the same. So these guys are the ones that are changing. Okay. So then I can plot my points. T is going to be at, or T prime is going to be at 2, 3. So I'm going over 1, 2, and then up 3. So my T prime is actually where my original H was. That happens sometimes. It's okay for the shapes to overlap. Okay, H prime is at -2, 3, so I'm going over to -2 and I'm going up 3, so basically these two guys just switch places. That's okay. Again, it's fine if your shapes overlap. L prime is at -4, -1, so I'm going over -1, 2, 3, 4, and then -1. And then V prime, I'm going to -1, -1, so I'm going over to -1 and I'm going down to -1. And that's going to be V prime. Connect my dots together. And notice I have my image, and it looks as if I have flipped it. It's jumped across the y-axis. All right, in example number 2, we're looking about reflecting across the x-axis. So the x-axis is the horizontal. So we're going to want to flip the shape over the x-axis. All right, so I need to list my coordinates for my pre-image. And in my pre-image, I have ESN, or okay, we'll do SNE. Okay, so my coordinates of S, so here's my y-axis, I'm going over -3, and it's on the x-axis, so my y-coordinate is 0. N is at the point 1, -2. And E is at the point 1, negative, and then I go up to 1, 2, 3, so 1, -1, 3. And then for my image, if I look up at my rule here, I'm flipping across the x-axis. So when I flip across the x-axis, the y-coordinate is opposite this time. So here, y-coordinate is opposite. So my y-coordinate is opposite. So this time, all of the y-coordinates are going to be opposite signs. So I keep all my x coordinates the same. So s prime is going to be -3. Now the opposite of 0 is just 0, so that one's not changing. N prime, keep 1. -2 becomes a +2. And then for e prime, keeping -1, and +3 opposite is -3. So again, all of my y coordinates are now opposite. Okay. So then I can plot my image. So I'm going to go to -3, 0. So my s and my s prime are actually the same point, and that's okay. Happens sometimes. Okay. N needs to go to 1, 2, so I'm going over 1, and I'm actually going up 2, 1, 2, and that's n prime. And then E is at -1, -3, so I'm going over to -1, and then this time I'm going down to 1, 2, 3, -3. E prime. Notice my shape is the same, it's just been flipped across the x-axis. Okay, looks like that. And I am all done. So really quickly to reiterate our rule here for reflections, if we're reflecting across the x-axis, our y-coordinate is going to be opposite, and if we're reflecting across the y-axis, the x-coordinate is going to be opposite.